Hello, Pastor Rob here. Just wanted to come and bring you yet another story in the 10 Days of the Easter Story by Dr. Josh and Christy Straub. Now, this is going to be the last recording, and then I'll share one of the last stories in church tomorrow. But I hope you're enjoying this book. I thought it was really, really neat. And if you're looking for something for your grandson, granddaughter, or son, or daughter, this is a fantastic book to bring. It's very engaging. There's questions after each emotion, and it'd be a really neat thing to kind of go through with children or grandchildren. So today's emotion is fear. The feeling is fear. If you look here, they are like this. Like they don't know what's going on. Like they're confused, and the fear has kind of taken them over. The verse is Matthew 27:61, where it says, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were seated there, facing the tomb. If you can see the rock, you see this little bird on top of it as well. But this is the rock, almost like a door that covered where Jesus was buried. Inside is Jesus. This is called the unknown. The day after Jesus died was the Sabbath, or a day of rest in Israel. Less than a week before, people had happily waved palm branches because Jesus was on earth to save them. Now he was dead. The people were afraid, not knowing what would happen next. On Friday evening, after Jesus died, a rich man named Joseph of Arimathea had offered his own tomb to bury Jesus. After Jesus' body was wrapped in linen, clean linen, Joseph put him in the tomb and rolled the large stone. Remember, we said that was the stone to close the entrance. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were there. Imagine these women at the tomb, the tears they cried, the questions they must have had at that time, the fear that they felt. The man so many hoped to be the Messiah was now dead. Was he really the Messiah? Why had he not just taken himself off of the cross? What would have happened to his disciples, to those who believed in him? Would the Jewish leaders come after them? That was a scary thought to these people. That would definitely put them in fear, because these Jewish religious leaders who did not like Jesus, they planned this the whole time. And so now they were very fearful that they were going to come after them because they loved Jesus so much. After Jesus's body was left in the tomb, there was an entire Saturday full of the unknown. Not much is written about this particular day in the Bible. It was the Sabbath. But this was a day of rest like none other ever before it, or to ever come after it. Even Jesus' disciples hid for fear of the Jews. Found in John 20, verse 19. Everyone was probably thinking about the unknown of who Jesus was, and the fear of what would happen now that he had died. I know I felt that way too when I first heard this story. Like, so what now? I mean, I know this isn't the end. So now where do we go? Fear and unknown. When fearful people either fight the threat or run from it. The religious leaders feared Jesus' message, the miraculous works, so much that they fought to put him to death. On the day after Jesus died, they were still so afraid that they went to Pilate, the Roman governor, and asked that the tomb be extra secure so no one could steal the body. So the Romans sealed the tomb and put a guard in place. They were afraid and hid from God in the Garden of Eden. The Israelites were afraid, and they ran away from Goliath as well. And now Jesus' disciples ran away when he was arrested. And they hid after his death. So when Jesus got taken by the Roman soldiers before he died, all of his friends, all of his disciples, they ran away because they didn't want to get caught too. If you can see on the other page, you see the Roman soldier that's guarding the tomb where Jesus is laid after he had died. Our prayer: Father, when I feel scared and alone in unknown moments in my life, help me to run to you and not run away from you. The feeling of fear is a God-given emotion that helps us either fight off a threat or run from the danger. This built-in response of fear is healthy because it keeps us safe. But throughout the Bible, God tells us not to be afraid of people or things, but fear him instead. When we fear God, we call on, obey, and run to him. In most other kinds of fear, we run away from him. How confusing it must have been for the disciples to watch the Son of God die on the cross and to be left alone the next day. No wonder why they ran away and hid in fear. I mean, like I said, I probably would have too. Have you ever run away and hidden when you were scared? I remember I did once. I remember when I was 3 years old, I lived in a different state. And I remember vaguely, but I remember that I made my mom or grandmother, one of the two, very, very angry. And so I ran away and I hid in the neighbor's doghouse. Now this dog just had puppies, so there was a pretty tight squeeze. But I remember hiding in there and they were calling my name, Rob, Rob, and I wouldn't answer them because I was afraid to come out. But then finally I did. And yeah, but that was kind of the story that I had where I ran away and I was fearful. So I hope you liked the story, the 10 Days of the Easter Story by Dr. Josh and Christy Straub. The next time I see you with this book, it'll be Easter. So have a great Easter weekend. Enjoy your loved ones and your family. And don't be fearful at all because Jesus is alive and well and he loves you. Bye.